Do you sometimes suffer from a sudden energy loss when you are in contact with people? It can be a mental energy loss or even a spiritual energy loss. How to deal with it and 6 solutions you will get in this video. When you are on the path on the spiritual awakening, you will from time to time suffer from a sudden energy loss. First thing I also mentioned in the basic video about the energy loss, and this is to avoid certain situations. As well as on the bodily level, which we don't discuss in the video, but as an example, you can avoid hard work, so there is no energy loss on the bodily level. Also, you avoid toxic people, then you reduce the energy loss on the psychological level. And on the spiritual level as well, because the toxic people also unconsciously pull energy on the spiritual level. But it's not a normal avoidance, which the clinical psychology actually don't recommend. Avoiding actually is not good. Avoiding is the wrong word here. Actually, it's only to give you a distance. You need some kind of distance. You can even meet toxic people, but not too long and not too often. So from time to time, you have to avoid. And so avoidance is not only a bad coping strategy, it is in a certain way a good coping strategy. The second aspect to avoid the energy loss is that you first implement a daily routine for yourself, which is minimum 4 hours if possible. If not, maybe you should stand up in the morning even earlier, or you can take a late shift so that you have the morning for you. There's a certain video about the first 6 hours of a day, which are for you. You can also find on this channel. The third aspect is the same thing actually, but looking at the week instead of the day. And this is Monday is Sunday. That is a German proverb which says that Monday has to be avoided. Sunday means something of avoidance, not avoidance again, not in a negative sense, avoidance only to calm. I started that lifestyle after 15 years of work when I was so much entangled and I had such a big energy loss, not only physically, also mentally, also spiritually. I was feeling so kind of dead because I was only working for the money and things like that. And so the soul didn't feel comfortable. No? We don't know about higher things normally, and I didn't know in that time, and so I lived wrong lifestyles. And from that, always I was tired. Always I had no energy. It was even kind of a trauma that I created myself by always serving for the money, for the job. And I was never happy with that. And again, there was such a cycle every day. And it was so boring and always getting so tired from out of nothing, even sometimes. And so since 8 years or so, I established a perfect routine for me, and also that the Monday is free. When all people start to run, all people go in the jobs, or those ones who don't have a job or to study, they run in the shops or to other appointments. And so everything is full and overcrowded, and this doesn't feel good. And there are so many concurrence fights in a line, and these things, people are not happy. So I just skip the Monday and start on Tuesday, and everything is fine. The fourth point is basically you can stay in the nature, or you can enjoy the nature. There are even soul parts in you which are very primitive and come from previous times. They are sometimes bad even, but they are good also. And they want to be in the nature from time to time. So give your soul what the soul needs and spend some time in nature. It will be very good for you. Even at bad weather or at bad circumstances in nature, sometimes, even if you have a small adventure, then you feel great afterwards. But some of you maybe also can enjoy the nature in the here and now, and especially there, the here and now is possible because in the civilization everything is arranged, everything is controlled, everything is managed by technology, by people's minds, by everything. And so there is no space for oneness, no space for being in the here and now. Always everything has to function, even the people. And that's why they implemented appointments and these things. But in the nature, there is no time. And so you can really try to go in the here and now, to meditate, to become mindful. And that is the greatest thing. So make use of the nature, try it. So Until now, we have only points which are about avoiding, about nature, about being alone and these things. But what to do when you have appointments and when you have to go out and when there come the situations with the energy loss, because they especially come when you go among the people. And so the fifth point I want to raise is a transition from this being alone routines and these staying in nature and being separated and isolated or secluded. So as well as you created your routines, you can create transitions to go from the isolation in the crowd. I had even unconsciously coping strategies for these kind of transitions, but that was many years ago at the very beginning when I started to work. It is about like 25 years ago. I had the habit before I went to work that I took a small sip of alcohol. This was my coping strategy to calm when I go among the people. It was just to relax my nervous system. But it is not a good strategy, and I don't want to recommend it here because as meditator, the alcohol is influencing our consciousness, and so this has a bad effect on the meditation. So that was just a negative example I did in the past. But what I want to raise here is that there are coping strategies. I have just taken the wrong one unconsciously, but now I created better ones. Later then, and what I can recommend also for you is to look at movies or to even play the gaming consoles or something like that, so that you are already in kind of a everyday life or what happens in the game or what happens in the movie. Even it's a movie, but it brings your mind to another story. So you are not in your own story, because when you are alone, you are in your own story. Even you are meditating, that is better, but sometimes you are not meditating and you are in your own story, you are very sensitive. You know that you are sensitive, and when you go out, that there will be the attacks, especially on you. But you avoid that when you bring your mind in a different story. So your mind is distracted from your actually distraction is not good, and I always say that the digital media and the videos and it is not good. But before you leave the house and your mind creates own stories and own projections with the other people, and then you feel bad out of your own psychology, your mental projections, it is better to avoid that and instead to go in a artificial life, and that is a movie or a game. But better than gaming or action movie is of course something calmer. And I, for example, I do it that I go on my YouTube channel and I go in the options and I sort my videos. I upload the next video and I sort the videos, which one comes next. I make some decisions. Maybe I do some changes in the channel description, or even I do some corrections on my books. So I do something on my work, on my favorite work, which is kind of a home office work that I don't have to go out actually, but it's work, and work also is outside. Even I don't go to work outside, but to go only to a normal appointment or go for shopping before it comes to the projection or distraction just out of my own mind when I leave this silent home and go in the crowd of people. Therefore, only to protect it is good to go in work first. Of course, meditation is also good, but when it doesn't work, it is also good to go in kind of a work if you have a work which is kind of a home office. What I can recommend as transition is to have the very first appointment on a day not in contact with a person. For example, you bring a letter only to the box, or you receive something like a packet from the box. We have this DHL packet station. So it is very good that we have these modern things sometimes so we can avoid people, but only to leave the house that our lower soul parts already have seen, okay, we can go outside, everything is fine, we don't have to have anxieties, everything is good, we come back to home and then we feel well. And then the next appointment, we can go among people. And the sixth and last aspect is praying and meditation. Whatever you can and you are able to, and what is working for you, try it. You can do it in a religious way if you are a religious person. If you are not, you can only meditate in whatever is perfect for you. Even it must not be the highest meditation methods, even it's only a protection or it's only a mantra which helps you when you go out among people only for protection. Then do it, use it only to protect. But the best thing even is to be in kind of a higher meditation the whole time, which not only protects you outside, which also protects you from your own projections, from your own mind, which is developing you, which is keeping you in the bliss, which is trying to keep you in the union with God, in the connectedness with everything, actually. Because everything is consciousness. Consciousness is everywhere. And so we are in this connectedness and we try to stay in the connectedness. And this is actually the best recommendation you can hold if you want to avoid a sudden energy loss from any personal contact with people or from any other happening in your everyday life. If you want to share your personal experience and other points, please let me know down below in the comments. I'm very curious about it. Have a nice day. See you soon. Bye.